Hello everyone, welcome to Chessverse. I am International Master Ratkovic. Today we are going to analyze a very instructive game played on candidates tournament between Grandmaster Anish Giri and Grandmaster Nepomniachtchi. So Giri started with knight f3. Black played knight f6, and then c4 was played. c5, knight c3, knight c6. So this is English opening symmetrical system. Why symmetrical? Because, as you see, all these pieces are symmetrically placed. White played d4. Nepomniachtchi took on d4, knight takes, and then e6. Everything is normal so far. This is like very popular variation for black. White played g3, so it's normal thing for white to fianchetto his bishop on g2. Later this bishop will be quite strong on this diagonal. After g3, black played queen b6. Yeah, this line is very sharp, very popular. I mean, there are many sharp variations after this. And then white played knight from d4 to b5. Okay, first of all, let's see what is the main system, the main move here for white. The main move is knight b3. Knight e5, e4, bishop b4, queen e2, d6, maybe f4 for white, knight c6, and again, computer says that this position is equal, but it's really sharp, unclear, and both sides have good chances here. So white didn't want to go into this variation, into this main variation, so he played knight from d4 to b5 instead. After that, black played knight e5. White played bishop to f4. You see what is white threatening to do. So knight on e5 is attacked. If black moves his knight somewhere, white is going to play knight c7, a fork. After bishop f4, black played a very good move. He played knight from f6 to g4. So you see that the f2 pawn is hanging, and at the same time, the knight on e5 is protected. White played e3, of course, and then black played a6. Why a6? Because this knight here is annoying, so let's get rid of the knight. After a6, white played h3. By the way, what will happen if white simply retreats the knight on d4, for example? That looks like a logical move, but in this concrete case, it's a mistake, it's a blunder actually, because black can play queen takes b2, and it's double attack. The pawn on f2 is hanging, and the knight on c3 is hanging. So for example, now if white tries to do something like this, there is just bishop b4, and there is mate in one. Of course, Giri saw that. I mean, of course, he didn't play knight e4. Instead, he played h3, very strong move. So counter threat. Black took the knight on b5, and then white took the knight on g4. Now the knight on e5 is hanging, as you see. So black simply took the c4 pawn. Rook c1 was played, and then black played d5. By the way, you see that black can take the b2 pawn with the knight. But it is too risky. It is possible move, but it is too risky because white is going to play queen b3, and then the knight on b2 is in danger. It's basically trapped there. So, of course, black didn't want to do that. Instead, he played d5. Very strong move. So now black supports the c4 knight. The knight on c4 is very strong, as you see. After d5, white played b3. As we said, this knight is strong, so white just want to get rid of the knight, pushing the knight away. Then black found very nice move. I mean, after b3, black could play something like knight d6, but that is inaccuracy. Why? Because white is just going to take the knight, bishop takes, and then bishop takes b5. Bishop d7, and then just maybe queen d3. Position is totally equal. I mean, again, it is unclear, but basically this position is equal. There are there is the same number of pawns on both sides, material is equal, and position is equal. Of course, Nepomniachtchi didn't want to do that. Instead, he played bishop to b4. He sacrificed his knight on c4, but we will see that this sacrifice is just temporary. So black is going to take a piece back. After bishop b4, white took the knight on c4, of course, and then rook a3. So the knight on c3 is attacked twice. White played bishop e5 to protect the knight, of course. It is normal move. And then black played f6. White, as we said, protected the knight, but that's not all. He also attacked the g7 pawn. f6 is a good move because now there is no way that white can take the g7 pawn, and at the same time this bishop is in danger. It has to go back on d4. After bishop d4, black just did this, queen a5. So three very strong pieces are attacking the knight on c3. The knight on c3 is only defended twice, so it is really, really difficult situation for white. By the way, there is also possibility of playing e5, and then this bishop is trapped on d4. So for example, if white tries to defend the knight, then black is simply going to play e5, and black is going to take both pieces, both bishop and the knight, and black is going to be a piece up. Of course, Giri didn't play queen d2, instead he just played bishop e2. He gave up a piece, but he completes his development. He just wants to play king f1 or short castle or something, and then his king will be safe. After bishop e2, black took the knight. Rook takes. Why not bishop takes? Let's see. After bishop takes on c3, black is simply going to take. Rook takes. Queen takes. Check. King goes on f1, and then b takes c4. As you see, black is 2 pawns up, and white doesn't have any counterplay, any compensation. So it's obvious that black is much better. So it is much better for white to take with the rook, and Giri did that. Rook takes c3, and then king f1 for white. Very strong move. Black played b4, and then white played g5. White doesn't want to take the rook, because if he takes the rook, position will be simple, and black is going to be better anyway. So he tried to do something on the king's side. Now if black takes, then it is just possible to take the pawn on g7, and then both rooks are hanging. Also there is rook takes h7 threat, and basically black king is unsafe there. You know, it's quite exposed, and I mean white has many threats. So g5 is a tricky move. Of course, black didn't take there. Instead, he tried to close this diagonal. He played e5. Now a1, h8 diagonal is closed, and then basically white has to take the rook on c3. He did that, and then black took. G takes f6 was played. G takes f6. Right now, black is a pawn up, as you see, but position is still complicated. White played queen b1. Very interesting move. You see what is the idea. He activated his queen. He's attacking the h7 pawn right now. So now the question is, how is black going to protect the pawn? Of course, just queen c7. White played queen to d3. He's attacking the c3 pawn, and then very nice move was played by Nepomniachtchi. He played b5. For example, if white takes the b5 pawn, then he's completely lost. c2 and then promotion on c1. White, after b5, he played queen takes c3, and then black took the c4 pawn with the b pawn. Black is still a pawn up, as you see, and black has better position. Still, it is a bit complicated because black pieces are also not so well placed, especially this bishop. It's still here. King is quite exposed. This rook on h8 is doing practically nothing, but we will see that in the future black is going to activate his pieces and to create decisive advantage. So what happened after this? White played e4. That's a good move. I mean, white wants to destroy black pawn formation in the center. So when black takes here, that actually happened in the game, then white is going to take the c4 pawn later, and then black pawn structure isn't so strong anymore. So before taking on c4, white just did this. He's attacking the e4 pawn. He wanted to take the e4 pawn, then to take the c4 pawn as well. After rook h4, black developed his bishop, normal move. Rook takes e4 was played, and then short castle. Black has to complete his development. Without all his pieces, he's not able to play this game, so he has to do something about that. Short castle is good because now this king is safe, much safer than in the center, and this rook is active. Rook can go like wherever he wants. White took the c4 pawn, and then king g7. Now, what's the problem with white's position? You see that there is the pin on the c file, and it's not simple for white to organize his pieces to get rid of the pin. You know, it's very uncomfortable for white, a very unpleasant position. You know, just when you're in the pin like this, it's not easy to figure out what to do. He played queen b3, and then of course black brought his rook into the play, rook b8. After rook b8, it's a very interesting moment. It's a difficult situation for white, as we said already. So he has a few options here. First of all, he can try to move his queen somewhere. So for example, queen a4. Queen a4 is actually a mistake. Why? Because black can play bishop f5, maybe rook e3, then check on b1, king g2, maybe queen b7 check, f3, and then queen b2, rook e2, and then maybe queen d4. As you see, white king has many weaknesses, many holes, and we can just try to organize mate attack there. Rook f2 maybe for white, and then e4. Black wants totally to expose white's king side, maybe queen c6, pawn takes f3, queen takes, and then bishop e4. Black is gonna be material up. Okay. So you see, very difficult position for white after rook b8. He decided to sacrifice his queen. He played bishop e6. He thought that he will have better chances in this endgame. Black took the queen, of course, and then rook g4 was played first. King f8, bishop takes b3. Let's wait for a moment. Let's see this position. Black has queen against rook and the bishop. So this is winning position, but like it requires very good technique. Of course, Nepomniachtchi won the game. He's very, very strong practical player, and he knew how to win this position. He played queen c1 check, king g2, queen c6, king g1, and then h5. Check here, check, king d6, rook h7. You see that white has also, I mean, some chances here. If black doesn't play well, of course, white is going to make a draw. So, I mean, white is not like completely lost here. He still has some chances. So black should be very, very careful about this. It is tricky to win and ending like this one, queen versus bishop and rook. You know, so you have to know many things, and yeah, you have to be a very good practical player if you want to win endgame like this one. So black played queen f3, rook h8, and then e4. So the threat is something like e3, and then after taking there, queen takes g3, later queen takes e3, white's position is falling apart. Of course, white played rook d8, and then bishop d1, so white desperately wants to prevent e3, as you see. Queen c3, and then rook d5 was played. So the h5 pawn is hanging, it is attacked twice, as you see. After rook d5, black played h4 to save the h5 pawn, and then g takes h4. So why this happened in the game? Why did he play h4? So first of all, h5 pawn cannot be, like, he cannot save it. It's attacked twice. We cannot bring two defenders there. So why h4? Black sacrifices his pawn. Again, it's just temporary. But black is going to have two connected pawns. Two connected pawns, and they will be very, very strong. So after h4, white took there, and then black played f5. Excellent move. So now these two pawns are very good. Black is going to push them. He's maybe going to create passed pawn on the e file. Why not? And this is very, very good plan for black. After f5, again, white has a few options. For example, he can play something like king g2, maybe to wait to see what will happen, but then black can play something like queen g7, king f1, and then f4. You see, there is immediately a good idea. Black can play f3 and then to play queen g2 check. You know, so there are so many options now for black. Black is almost winning here. So this is why Giri decided to sacrifice his bishop. He decided to go in rook versus queen endgame. So he took the f5 pawn. Black played queen e1 check, of course, and then he took the bishop. So rook g5 was played. Why rook g5? And now what is white planning to do? He wants to place his rook on the third rank. He wants to do something like this. And then he's going to create some sort of fortress. He's hoping that black cannot break that fortress and that it's going to be draw. So this is a typical motive in these kind of positions. But yeah, let's see, is it possible? Can black win this? So white played rook g5, queen a1. So the first task for black is to take these two pawns. It shouldn't be so difficult. Queen a1, rook g4, so the e4 pawn is under attack. Of course, black cannot allow taking on e4, so he has to protect the e4 pawn first. Queen b1, and now it's the right time for taking there. Rook h3, queen d5. King g1, so normal moves. Now is the right time for black king to be activated. So black is planning to take the h4 pawn with the king, and queen on d5 will stay there to support, to protect the e4 pawn. Rook g3, queen d1, king f5. Rook e3, king f5, king f6. You see, it requires like many good technique, and it requires many moves. So rook h3, and then finally king g6. King goes there on the left side to take the h4 pawn. Queen b1, waiting move, and then white has to sacrifice the h4 pawn, otherwise he's going to lose. So basically, now this is zugzwang, and yeah, white has no choice. He has to give up the h4 pawn. He played this, and then black finally took there. Rook g3, king h5, check. King d4, rook e3. What do you think about this position? Is there a way for black to win? I mean, white rook on e3 is well placed because, as we said, I mean, it's doing a lot. It's not allowing black king to be activated. So now it's really difficult to find a good plan. I mean, black cannot go there to take the f2 pawn. I mean, black king cannot be activated. Also, here, black king is doing nothing, you know. So without the king, black cannot win this. So do you have any idea what should black play in order to win the game? What do you think? What did Nepomniachtchi play? He played excellent move, and after this move, white just resigned. He played queen d3. Why? Because now black is building a bridge for his king. King will go on c3, d2, and then later on e2 or e1. And like this, he will just take the f2 pawn. So this is the only way to win this position. The only winning resource for black, just to play queen d3. Let's see one variation. So for example, first of all, if white takes here, black is going to take with the pawn, king f1, king c3, king e1, king c2, and then just d2, d1. So white cannot take. What else white can do? He can just wait. He can play rook g3. But then, as we said, black is going to activate his king, like this, king e2, maybe rook h3, and now it is the right time for queen sacrifice, queen h3, king h3, king f2, and again we are going to promote there. Okay, we are done. I hope you like it. I hope that you will follow Candidates Tournament. There are many good instructive games there. We will try to analyze as many games as possible, and that's it. See you soon.